Working from home sucks. I am now expecting the uproar from the Gen Z millennial community saying, "You're a boomer, Brian. How can you say work from home sucks? Working from home is the best thing that has ever happened from COVID and the pandemic." Well, take the hot take. Work from home sucks. I think I'm slightly qualified to talk about why work from home sucks because I am one of the few, maybe the lucky few of my generation that have experienced not work from home, which is called commuting and going into the office and talking to people face to face in person. Not sure if you have heard of it. And to make my statement have a bit more weight, the only in-person work I've ever had where I was required to commute was during investment banking, which is not really known for being a happy time. So when I say work from home sucks, I'd like to think that my words carry a bit of weight. To get the obvious things out of the room, work from home definitely, obviously, has its benefits. I'm able to record this video during the week in a 15-minute break that I have. I'm able to go downstairs and talk to my mom. I'm able to go run an errand really quick. I don't have to dress up just to dress up. I don't have to spend an hour in LA traffic in the 405 and the 5 and on the 110, wasting gas trying to get to a place just to show face. As the most important thing, I don't have to just show face. I can just get my work done and be done with it. I really think that is the full extent of where work from home has its benefits. There's really nothing else. Also, fair warning, I am deeply very extroverted, and I think that 100% plays into it. But on a career perspective, work from home sucks. There is very little, if any, organizational unity. There is none commitment to the organizational vision / organizational adherence, cohesiveness that exists during the work from home process. One of the reasons why investment bankers got so burnt out during this time is because we all felt like Fiverr subcontractors at 24/7 disposal. We got the worst of all worlds. We were at the MD disposal all the time, but didn't really receive the appreciation or the camaraderie, which I'll talk about later, that came along with working in the firm. I'm going to guess that that's the case with all organizations, especially big ones where people higher up just send you work to do, you do the work, you send it back, and you never hear from them again because you don't run into them. There's nothing that you can run into them organically. You're literally just sent work, you do it, and then bye-bye. It is very hard to stay focused on a mission, feel like you are part of something when that is the case. I think the bigger issue is the lack of mentorship, no learning over the shoulder. You can share your screen on Zoom all you want, but there's such limitations to that. We're all youngsters. It's a lot to build a career, learn amidst a professional sphere. There's no classroom setting. I don't even know how Zoom University kids did it. You can't learn over the shoulder in Zoom or over Slack or Microsoft Teams if that's still a thing. It's very hard to gain mentorship and learn from people above you that you hopefully want to become at some point in the future. Or to make things worse, you don't even know what the future holds because you never see the other person doing their work and you're on with them on pointless Zoom meetings that take up so much of your time just to take of your time. People in my era of the past 2 years starting their career really got screwed over because they have just not learned properly. Many of them did summer internship virtually, then started virtually with no resources around. They don't know who to ask what to. It's very hard to train people over Zoom or video chat. There's going to be a giant skills gap, giant adherence to company mission gap within my range of plus or minus 5 years going into the next 5 to 10 years. And I want to go as far as to say the next crisis is going to be caused by this gap of people just not knowing what they're doing. One of the biggest gaps I saw in banking in the past 2 years was my class, the class of 2019, came in, really didn't like it, went through the 9 months of regular banking, then did work from home banking, got burnt out, left. The class below us did their summer internship virtually, had no feelings, good or bad, towards the firm because they weren't connected to it. They also felt like Fiverr subcontractors, did not feel any association or attachment to the associates above them, had no mentorship, didn't learn how to do things over the shoulder. So they were highly undertrained. The people above them started leaving, Exhibit A, and then the people under them are even less trained. So now you have a blank slate of analysts who have just not been trained properly, don't really feel any attachment to the firm, and whoopie-doo. That is going to come crashing down, I assure you. Speaking of Zoom meetings suck. Zoom meetings suck more than work from home. 90% of the time, pointless. They never stay on course to what you're talking about, what the topic is at hand, especially if it's a big organization. I do think that it's positive in the sense that there's no more big long table with the big man at the front, big woman at the top, where they clearly have a advantage over the people on the sides. So everything has been equalized playing field, but one person can definitely control the meeting by muting you or being the speaker, sharing the screen, the attention's toward them. So it kind of cancels out. Outside of that, Zoom meetings suck. The whole leveling playing field, if anything, kind of makes everyone feel like they need to contribute in a day and age of the society where everyone has to have something to say about everything, which is not really the case. Sometimes you just need to learn to shut up and not say anything. During Zoom meetings, everyone either feels like they need to say something or no one feels like they need to say anything, and it's just a silent, cameras off, don't even know what they're actually doing. I would assume 60% of the people are in pajamas laying in bed with their headphones listening to a phone. Bottom line, Zoom meetings suck. They never produce anything. There's no tangible follow-ups afterwards. They don't stay on track. It's always starting with, I don't want to take too much of your time. This is not going to take the full time. It's not going to take the full hour. Then don't schedule the full hour. There's no hallway conversation innovation, especially if you're at a startup or tech-y field or innovative field, or maybe you're just doing anything that requires some level of collaboration and talking. Of course, some of these stories are glorified, but a lot of innovation and cool ideas come from these passing by conversations. Don't get me wrong, a lot of conversations that happen in the hallway are pointless. I don't really want to say, hey, how you're doing in a fake way 50,000 times. That was reduced by work from home. I think that's a great thing. But the complete elimination of hallway conversations and just grabbing time really quick to understand what is going on process-wise, out the window. This brings up a bigger, broader issue of there is limitation to how you can communicate over text and even over 2D Zoom. And I'm not saying I want Facebook or Mark Zuckerberg's Meta to take control of us and do virtual VR meetings where I'm represented by an avatar floating in the sky. But my point being, there's a lot communicated with body language and presence and vibe and introspection of looking at each other and just the aura that is present in person that you just can't get across over a Zoom camera and this mic. I think that is going to lead to a very poorly communicated vision society. And of course, this is a very dystopian end of the world scenario that I'm drawing up here. Basically, I don't think communication is done properly via work from home. And then I mentioned it earlier, and this is probably the most important thing. This is me being an extrovert. This is me being an ENFP. There's zero camaraderie. You don't feel like you're part of the organization. You don't feel like there's people going through hard times with you. It's very hard to reach out to people. You don't know who to reach out to, what about. You don't know what they're up to. Sometimes they don't respond for days because there's no way of getting to them in person. You can't just hop to their desk and really quickly ask a question, put time on their calendar for a simple question, and actually not even get the answer to the question. It's really hard. I just want friends at work to work collaboratively with. I can't pronounce that word. So in conclusion, that is why I'm moving to New York City in a month to work in person with my dudes at Soul Analysis. This was in no way, shape, or form a promotion for Soul Analysis, but if you are a product designer or software engineer, dev in the Solana space, dev smart contract space, feel free to email me your resume and let us know because we're hiring. Not to get off track, not to get overly corporate. Yes, I miss going in person. I can't wait to go in person starting next month. I think there's going to be insane synergy that comes from it. Please feel free to fight back in the comments below saying why work from home is the best and I am insane and I'm a boomer. As always, I will see you guys in the next video. Let's go.